everyone, it's Anne here for day 2 of the 5K Clients Accelerator. Today we're here to talk about how to stand out and attract high ticket prospects, and I think a lot of you are here for that. So just to recap, we covered the true value of your offer and why you are worth way more than what you're actually charging now. And it's really important for us to actually try and quantify this. No matter how intangible our work may seem, we can even just list it out, right? Just list it out. Even if we can't put a monetary value on it, we can list it out to really kind of fully grasp and understand the value in the work that we do and how long that value lasts, often for a lifetime. It's not just for the period when we're actually working together, right? And I know conceptually you may understand the lifetime value, but have you been able to really kind of get to the nitty gritty of this, the true value of this? It is totally worth spending some time on this, even if it takes you an hour or two to really get into this, because your content and the things that I'm going to be talking about today to attract these high ticket clients this is going to be really useful for that purpose as well, right? For creating that, for really getting into the heads of the people that you're working with, so you can demonstrate to them that you get them, you understand. Now, if you have any questions at all about anything that I'm sharing this week, please drop them in the comments, tag me, and I will answer everything. So let me know if I didn't. I am here to serve and answer any questions that may come up. So today we are going to focus on how to stand out and attract high ticket prospects. Now, this training last year, 12 plus months ago, I delivered something similar, but I did it over 5 days, right? So today I'm trying to condense it into 3 days this week, which is kind of tough, right? So I've got a whole bunch of notes. I may not hit all the notes because, I'm going to be keeping a half an eye on the time as well. So, I'll do my best, right? Now, when it comes to standing out, so I'll start off with that part. The biggest mistake that we can make is to blend, to try and be like someone else, to try and to look at someone who is successful and potentially copy them. Whether we're doing it consciously or subconsciously, that can be the biggest mistake for our brand, right? And it is the most common mistake that I see people make, whether it is promising 10K months or something else, right? We all end up blending when we are all saying the same thing, yeah? So the best way that we can stand out is to be different, is to polarize, to say things that other people are not saying, right? And not to just shock people and not to be out of integrity with who we are, but to be different. So people kind of hear our message and kind of go, she's different, right? She's saying something a little bit different, and I actually quite like what she has to say. So, because what makes someone successful is really who they authentically are, right? It's who they are being. It's not necessarily what they are saying as much, but still being opinionated, or being that kind of super empathetic person, or being that arrogant, right? Arrogant, rude person, or being that kind of religious, political person, or, the way you dress and how you show up, whether, you kind of really up-level your brand through your appearance, or whatever it might be. This is what is going to set you apart from everyone else, right? And over and above your message as well. And so there are businesses, right, men and women out there who just are straight talkers, right? They swear, every other word is a swear word. And they have a huge following because people like that. But they equally have a lot of people who find them crass and rude and don't like them at all. And they will trigger those people, right? And that's okay. That's completely okay, because we're not for everyone. There's 8 billion people on this planet and we can't possibly serve everyone anyway. But we still need to stand out, and no matter how shy or introvert we are, we can still achieve this through our messaging if we don't want to be bold and brash and you know, swear and try and be different in other ways, right? Playing safe will keep us playing small. It will keep us invisible, right? Because how are we going to stand out? We have to stop caring what people think. This is the biggest issue, right? We have to stop caring what people think. We have to accept that people will judge us no matter what. And we have to have the guts to be judged. You know, yesterday I talked about my own self-sabotage and my fears around success and having haters. I have to accept that I may have haters. I have to accept not everyone is going to love me when I'm more successful, you know, because otherwise that is going to be the thing that is going to stop me from going beyond 250, 500,000 and so on, right? To really reach my ultimate goals and dreams and desires and the level of impact that I would love to have. We have to almost show up and with the goal, with the aim of being judged. Because if we are not being judged, we won't be noticed. True story, right? Because we will just blend and we will be vanilla like absolutely the majority of the people out there. It's only a small portion of people that are hugely succeeding, right, online. That's the reality. And like I said, this is not about being someone that we're not. It can be achieved in a few different ways, and I'm going to be covering that a little bit more. We can be judged for our compassion. We can be judged for our humor. We can be judged for our style. We can be judged for, you know, the hats that we wear. We can be judged for the way we live our life and enjoy life. You know, we can be judged for our arrogance and all the things, right? But the point is, when we're judged, we're remembered. And people remember who have had an impact on them, whether it's a positive or a negative impact. They remember. And this is what's necessary to stand out. There's nothing more important than this. You know, there's actually nothing more important than authenticity and integrity as well, right? In our business. But this is really, really super important that we show up as ourselves without too many filters, right? Without trying to blend, not show off too much, or not want to say things that might offend or hurt people, and then we just sound like absolutely everyone else. And again, I know the women in my circle. I know the women who kind of like my energy and are attracted to working with me on all the things. And we are all not huge extroverts. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to offend people. We don't want to hurt people. We don't want to say things that will trigger people, right? We want to be liked. And it is still achievable, by the way. That is still achievable, but then our messaging has to be completely different, right? We have to somehow stand out, because otherwise we just blend with absolutely everyone else. Like I said before, we can't serve 8 billion people on this planet anyway. We can't. So why are we trying to blend and be like everyone else so we are liked? Yeah, because we possibly can't. We can't and sometimes, we have to decide for ourselves too. Like I speak to women often who I don't feel is a good fit for my business, even if they would like to work with me. And I do it with so much compassion, but I often refer them to someone else who I think that might be better suited for them. Because there are so many things that I don't do in my business. I don't do the multiple offers. I don't do the passive income. I don't do LinkedIn and TikTok and all the other platforms and all the things, right? And that's part of what differentiates me as well. I talk about simplicity. I talk about high ticket. I talk about less is more. And I get super opinionated about these things. So what sets you apart? What makes you different? And just saying, oh, I'm different isn't enough, because we need to really call out what's different about us, right? Because we are all working in a reasonably saturated industry, right? There's a lot of coaches out there, but there's only one of us. So why should someone work with us? This is the thing. This is how we attract people. This is how we stand out, by being different. So I want you to think about it. What makes you different? Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you've got something that makes you really different to everyone else. What is your core message that sets you apart from others who are doing something similar? And I know some of you are in slightly less saturated niches than others, right? This is probably most important in the business coaching, health coaching, and money coaching kind of spaces. Like when you have a little bit more of a micro niche, maybe it's not as essential, but you still need to, when people are looking for a particular service, they're looking for a particular service and they're going to see you. It's like when you're looking for the pram or the new car or whatever it is you start your focus. Once you start focusing on something and looking for something, you see everybody around that is offering that thing, right? Because you're more hyper focused on that thing that you want. Any big business, right? We might be solo entrepreneurs online, in our tiny little corner. But if we have aspirations and desires to grow our business beyond our wildest dreams, then we have to also think like a big business, right? Any big business, whether it's a bank, whether it's an airline, whether it's a hotel chain, they have teams of people who do competitor analysis to look at what it is that other businesses like them are doing. Not because they want to copy them, right? But because they want to set themselves apart. So why aren't we doing the same? Not because we want to compare ourselves, because comparisonitis is like a big issue in this space too, right? We don't want to be comparing ourselves and going, oh, I'm not good enough and all the things. That's not the reason for this exercise. But we need to look at, well, what are our competitors doing? What are the trailblazers doing? What are they offering? What are they saying? How are they different? How can I be different to that? How can I get really opinionated on something that they're saying, which I actually don't agree with? We don't call people out by name and say, oh, this coach says this and I totally disagree with that. But, we might say things like, and I help you achieve this result without cold DMs, or without paying for Facebook ads, or without needing a big audience, or without being on 15 different platforms, or with only one offer, or working just 2 to 4 hours a day. You hearing me? Because I've basically shared a few of the things that you hear me talking about, right? To set myself apart from my competition. And all of these other things work. It's just that that's not how I offer my services. So I don't for a moment try and say, oh, don't ever cold DM. It's the worst thing in the world. It's not my opinion. I think cold DMs work. I just choose not to do it. So I don't. And that's not what I teach my clients either, right? So there are so many ways. There are so many ways to do what we do. It's just finding your way and making your way the right way. So how are you different from your competitors? Because there are variations, right, of people that are offering something, you know, whether it's feng shui or whether it's some other kind of interior design service or spiritual, you know, removing spirits and things from your home. And, you know, and I know the outcomes might be different for them all, right? But it's about, why would someone choose to work with you over the competition? Over all these other people who are offering something similar. Like when you look at my messaging, I'm really transparent about this, right? So I know what makes me different. So I show people how to keep business simple. That's my thing, right? It's like, let's simplify business here. You know, how can you build a business in 2 to 4 hours a day? That's my goal, right? Focus on one offer until you've reached at least 6 figures is part of my messaging. Follow one system. You can have your unique system that you follow. This is not like a cookie cutter. Everybody does, every single one of my clients follows the same system. But follow one system, rinse and repeat, right? That's how you achieve mastery. That's how you improve. Not by doing this month and that the next month and something completely different the following month, because that's how you go sideways. That's not how you move forwards, right? Show up fully on one platform. Go all in on one platform. Platform of choice for me is Facebook. So someone who's all their clients are on LinkedIn, they're not going to want to work with me. And that's okay. Although I have had clients who come to work with me who target LinkedIn. But that's, you know, it doesn't mean that we can't work with other people, but those other people may not choose to work with us, right? We are really specific about what we do, who we serve, how we do business, so people can then choose us. Because we don't want to chase. This is about attraction, yeah? How to attract these 5K clients. It's not how to chase the 5K clients, yeah? And I'm going to be talking a bit more about that as well. Talk about organic marketing until we're ready to scale, right? Facebook ads before you're on $20,000, $30,000 a month is a waste of money. Waste of money, yeah. My target market, the women that I want to work with, their goal is to earn between $100,000 and $250,000 a year. In the first instance, that's their initial goal. I'm not targeting the woman who's ready for the $1 million year. I can help her. I've built a $50 million business. I know what's required, but that's not who I'm targeting. So I'm really clear on who it is that I'm helping and how I'm going to help them, and I weave this into my messaging and get quite opinionated about it, saying, you know, like, my competitors are teaching you how to build funnels and have all the technology and start selling offers at $19 or $49. Then you've got to upsell them into something that's $4.99 or $9.99, you know, that middle tier sort of price point. And then you can upsell them. Now, for someone to achieve between $100,000 to $250,000 in income, my target market, right? The way I'm teaching them, they need to make between 1 to 4 sales a month. The way my competitors are teaching them, I'm not saying my competitors are wrong, right? These strategies work, but they would need about 50 sales a month. Yeah, they would need a much larger audience. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm doing all the time in my content, in my trainings, like I'm doing right now, transparently sharing with you and kind of giving you an insight into what my beliefs are, what I offer compared to whatever else is out there in the marketplace. And I get really opinionated about this. And this is what sets me apart, and this is what people reach out to me about, and they kind of go, I've been watching you, I've been listening to you, I've been hearing you, I've been reading your content, and I can see that you're different, and what you're describing is exactly what I want. And equally, there are people who just bypass everything I say because the way I speak and what I'm offering and the way I do business does not appeal to them at all, right? Because they have a different way that they want to do business. Like the multi-passionate entrepreneur who has multiple offers and they love being creative and being on Instagram and doing videos on TikTok and going on Clubhouse and doing all the things, right? They're not going to be attracted to working with me. I'm not their person. I'm not their coach. And that is perfectly okay. That is perfectly okay. I have another client and she talks about without hours of talk therapy. That's how she's different. She helps you achieve XYZ result without hours of talk therapy. It does sound exhausting, right? But some people like their business that way. And, each to their own. Honestly, truly, I'm not here to judge them. I just know it wouldn't work for me, for my lifestyle, for my nervous system, for everything that I've got in my world. And so I've chosen what works for me, and that's what I teach, and people are drawn to it. So if you don't have clarity on these kinds of things yet, then this is the work, right? Look at your competition, look at, even what other people are doing, and just kind of list what are they saying, what are they doing? Do they align with your beliefs and your message, or do they not? So whether it's with or without, you've got to kind of bring that into your messaging so you can set yourself apart and be different, right? And I've shared this in past trainings, and I'm going to say it again. Everything, almost everything, let's say, may have been done before. And when we are in the coaching space, it feels incredibly saturated, but it's not, and it hasn't been done by you, right? It's just that you may be sounding like you're offering something that other people are offering because you haven't as yet kind of set yourself apart as well as you could. And talk about what other people offer, because people don't necessarily realize there are different ways of getting a particular outcome, right? So let's look at the weight loss industry. That's like a really good example. The weight loss industry, yeah? I mean, the mindset aside, we all know, eating less and exercising more helps, right? But there are low carbs, no carbs, Atkins, keto, paleo, calorie counting, fasting, and all the different things. And the list goes on. And every weight loss diet person out there stands behind their method as being the method that works. I'm still waiting to talk to someone who offers the eat pizza and drink red wine diet, because I'd like to try that, right? I'd like to try that myself, but they get opinionated and they say that their way works. And here's the thing, once people have tried something and unfortunately they haven't had results, whether it's in weight loss, whether it's in life coaching, whether it's in business coaching, they are going to look for something very different the next time. They're not going to do the same thing again. So this is where it's really, really important that we put something out there that gives them hope that there is an alternative solution. Hustling isn't a necessity for business. Doing 15 Facebook Lives a week isn't a necessity for business. Posting 500 times on 17 different platforms isn't a necessity for business. It's just one person's belief that that's what's required. And here I am, another person saying 1 Facebook Live a week 3 to 4 maybe posts a week is more than enough to get you to a $250,000 business. Because I'm living proof, and I've got clients who've done it too. So get really clear, ladies. Like, I really hope that you're going to walk away from this session kind of not thinking, oh God, I have to do something that feels uncomfortable, or I've got to, completely dance on TikTok, or dance or sing or swear or be an asshole in order to be noticed. And in fact, you're the most kind-hearted, sweetest person out there, and it's so not in your personality to shine such a big spotlight on yourself. If that's you, you can still be successful. You've just got to think about your messaging and how you can set yourself apart from everyone else. Right. High-ticket clients and how to attract them through our marketing, right? So I've talked about that kind of how to be different and how to position ourselves and message ourselves so we stand out. Now, how do we attract these high-ticket clients? Communicating our value is really important. So we touched on that yesterday as well, really recognizing and understanding the value of the work, because that needs to also be woven in. On social media, essentially how we do this is through the content that we share, right? The trainings that we deliver, the Facebook Lives, the short posts, the long posts, all the things, right? These are all the ways that we can attract our ideal 5K kind of clients. So we're not chasing them. So we're not kind of doing cold outreach or any of those things, but we're actually attracting them. The most effective way I have found is by showing people and not necessarily telling our prospects that we get them. So how do we do this? How do we show them that we understand them, and instead of saying you, we say I. This may go against what you have heard other coaches say. Businesses are different, that kind of brand business, the business that isn't the person, the coach, the personal brand. They tend to talk to you, right? And talk about you and your problems and what you are doing right and what you are doing wrong and how you need to change. Make it about you. Whereas when we're a coach, when we're kind of more of a personal brand and people are choosing us, right? They're choosing to work with us. They're not kind of working with some big business. They're working with us. It's so much more relatable when we talk about and show our situation, how far we've come, how we applied these principles into our world, how we've helped our clients, and talk about it more from our perspective and showing them from our perspective, right? And we actually get into their heads. We attract people very, very similar to who we are. That's what resonates. And so we know the subconscious thoughts that are going through their heads because they've gone through our heads too. If we have that level of awareness of what's going on with us, if we're a few steps ahead of them, then we absolutely can help them, right? And this is, I guess, slightly different for the person who's kind of learnt a modality and then just teaches something, as opposed to has embodied what it is that they do, right? So I'm talking to you assuming you've embodied this, you've achieved this for yourself, And my number one tip is make it about I rather than you. Talk about what you have found. You can also talk about your clients and what they have achieved or found or experienced, the solution that follows, right? Like, we need to really understand and tap into their feelings, their desires, their frustrations, their challenges. And if we think about where we were a little while ago, then this is easy, because we are likely to be them, exactly who they are today, except we were there, maybe a couple of years ago. When we can demonstrate we know what our clients are going through, that's when they think, wow, she understands me. And that's when they kind of are like, the number of people that have reached out to me in comments, in Messenger, and sort of gone, oh my gosh, I read that post and it was like you're in my head. And that's the key. This is the thing about marketing and about attracting clients, is if you talk from a perspective of I and me and we, people just feel so much safer and less judged, and like we get them. And that's how I feel, right? So this comes really naturally for me. This isn't something I've got to kind of go, I'm not making up stories about I or me or we if it's not true. So how do we get into the heads of these premium buyers? Do you know what your prospects are thinking? Do you know what they're thinking right now? What are they thinking before they're making a decision to buy? We need to understand this, right? How are they feeling? What are their desires? What keeps them awake at night? What's in their subconscious mind as well, right? Speaking to their subconscious mind is even more effective than speaking to their conscious mind. So this is the thing that we need to start to understand more and more and better about our ideal clients and who we're looking to attract. Because once we understand them, and this has got nothing to do with their age or their demographics or what they're wearing or any of those things. This is more to do with how they're feeling, what are they thinking, where are they at for them to make this decision to actually work with you. And the sad reality is a lot of people are more likely to want to get out of pain than they are to get into desire, right? They want to get out of pain rather than get into desire. So sometimes we need to I have mixed feelings about constantly marketing to the pain. I don't think that's a good idea. We need to keep it about pain and desire, but we need to really demonstrate that we understand the pain, because that's what motivates people more than anything else to get out of pain. Like, we need to normalize these things. That's the thing. And that's, we're in this together. Yeah, that's the sort of feeling that we need to give people, because otherwise, well, they're too afraid to take the risk, right? To make the investment. Like, it is so normal. It is so normal for us to have self-doubt. But if we're not talking about it, then people think they're alone. They think they're the only ones having self-doubt. When in fact, we have self-doubt all the time at every level, right? It's so normal to think, am I good enough? Am I worthy of receiving? And do I have what it takes? Can I really deliver? Aspirational marketing is really, really effective too, like to speak to the desires that people have. But it's just getting that blend, right? Because people want to also get away from the pain more than anything else. As an example, let me share some of the things that I know are on my prospects' mind, right? They're thinking things like, how much longer? How much longer is this going to take? Seriously? Is this am I cut out for this? Maybe I should just go and get a job. Maybe I should just give up on this dream, because, I've been trying this for a little while and I just don't think I'm cut out for it. When am I going to have the breakthrough? How will I have the breakthrough? I'm not even sure this is for me. Consistency seems like a faraway dream. Oh yeah, I can do this every now and then. But how the heck am I going to make this consistent? Why can't I make sales? What's wrong with me? Why do I only attract people that can't afford me? What is it about me that attracts people that can't afford me? What am I doing wrong? I mean, like, I've been doing this for a while now. Surely I should have had a breakthrough by now. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Should I call it a day? Should I just give up? Because I think it'll be so much easier to just go and get a job or something. I don't know if I can keep going like this. This is the stuff, right? These are the thoughts. I've had them too, myself. I know. So this is what we need to be talking to as well, right? Because we need to create content where people feel like we are in their head, like we completely get them. And if you don't feel like you've got this level of clarity yet, that's okay, but that's the work. Wishy-washy vagueness in content is the content that people kind of tend to scroll right by, right? It doesn't touch a chord, it doesn't touch an emotion, it doesn't stop the scrolling. And this is where, when I talk about 2 to 3 pieces of content a week is more than enough. It takes some thought, right, to create really good content like this. Because you actually have to sit and you've got to actually go deep inside yourself as well to bring it out, to really get into that person's mind. Or you've got to interview lots of clients. Or if you've already got clients, that makes it so much easier, right? Because you know what they're thinking and all the things. But if you haven't yet got clients, then this is the work to really get into that subconscious, that mind, to understand. I'm going to help you with a couple of pieces of content. I'm really mindful of time that I do all the time, right? Transparently, I do this all the time. This is what brings in consistent leads for me daily. And they're the right people. What I've been talking about is really getting to know and get into the mind of your clients, to really attract them, to write copy for them and so on, to write content that makes them think, oh my God, she knows me, she gets me, I've got to talk to this woman. How the hell does she understand me so well? So I'm going to talk about a couple of shorter posts, smaller posts, just simple colored background type stuff. And you can do a direct or indirect type of lead generation through these posts, right? So something that's direct is a lot more, you're calling people out. You're calling people out to come and work with you. And you're saying, I'm on a mission to help 3 people, or I'm looking to work with 3 women, or whatever it is, to help them to achieve XYZ result without whatever it is, the pain point it is that they're going through that they don't want, right? Or by following a particular method. Something that's compelling, that draws people out. Who wants it? So that's a really direct call to action. And we need to put these out there. We are here for business. This is not just about sharing on social media all the time, right? And something more indirect is like what most of you responded to come into this training, and that is to say, I've created something incredible, XYZ, whatever it is. It could be a PDF, it could be a training, it could be a meditation, it could be an activation, it could be any of the above, whatever. And this is what's helped me achieve this, or help my clients achieve that. Or in this particular one, I said, I've improved or created or changed I've got a new 5K client accelerator training. I share my strategies on how to reach 250K without a big audience. Who wants it? Super simple, to the point, put it out there. People say yes, 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 and then you bring them into your world. And then you share value, and then you have conversations with those who want to have conversations with you. It's really not rocket science, right? Sometimes the hook obviously needs a little bit of testing. Sometimes we need to, marketing does take a little bit of testing. It doesn't always work the first time, but It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be hard. I'm really transparent about absolutely everything that I do. And this is how I've built my business. And some people don't want to publicly comment, right? Some people won't publicly comment. So you've got to give the people the option of commenting below or sending you a DM or whatever it might be. Yeah, because not everyone wants to. I have got so many, typically, business coaches don't want to comment publicly, right? Typically, my private clients are business coaches because they don't want to make it public. I, on the other hand, am more than happy to make it public that I still work with coaches, and I name my coaches. Currently I'm working with Jana Kingsford, and I've worked with multiple coaches, right, over the years, and I continue to work with coaches all the time. So I've worked with Dino, which is where I met the lovely Marie, and and a lot of my clients I've met through coaches. Actually, I've met Dina through Vanessa Moss. Yeah, so what do you think about putting a payment link in the comments? I personally don't do that, but I think it's okay, right? I think it depends on the price point, and I think it depends on, sometimes the price can scare people off, but if it's a lower price, which I know you do a little bit of both, low and high, I would absolutely do that, right? I wouldn't be wanting to get on calls for lower ticket if I did lower ticket, which I don't. So I tend to give people a range and sort of say, working with me starts at 5,000 or starts at 7,000, which is really the case now. It used to start at 5,000. So people have an idea what it might cost to work with me. And I'm really transparent about that, because if that is like, I'm going to fall off my chair, I'm not investing that sort of money, then, it's okay. I share lots of free content. You can just follow me on Facebook and, let's not waste each other's time, because I value my time and I want people to, if they want to work with me, then I want them to have some sort of idea of what the investment might be. More often than not, I hear people say, I thought it would be more. Because I do offer such a sort of high touch kind of service, right? So with unlimited support and so on. Yeah, so that's my perspective. Probably lower ticket workshops. Yeah, absolutely. For lower ticket, absolutely. The link in the comments is what I would do as well if I did that. Yes. I'd love you to consider, right, going out there and putting a post, whether it's a direct one or an indirect one, and seeing who you attract. Now, the reason it may not work, here's the disclaimer. The reason it may not work is if your audience isn't right, or if you've been half in, half out, half consistent, half in, coming in, going, disappearing, talking about 5,627 different things, and people don't really know who you are, what you stand for, and what you're about, then it may not be as effective, right? Because people are like, oh, I don't even know what this means, right? But if you've been consistent, and don't get me wrong, I get brand new people coming into my world and then becoming clients too. So it can happen fast, but still there's an element of history that, we all stalk. You know that, right? We know that. People might be brand new to my world, but I know they're stalking me. Yeah. I know they're stalking me. I know they would have scrolled right through my personal profile. I see that. I know they've watched my stories. I know they've come into my Facebook group. I know they've watched some trainings. Yeah. So they've been fire hosed with value and who I am and what I stand for, and then they can make a very quick decision fast. So the only reason that what I'm sharing may not work is if you're a little bit wishy-washy, vague here and there, in, half out, and there's no real consistency that people can kind of grab onto and go, oh, okay, I totally get who this chick is all about and what she stands for. And yeah, I think I want to work with her. Yeah, makes sense? It can be fixed. All of these things are fixable. Nothing's like broken and terminal, but that might be a reason why these posts may not work immediately. Hope that was helpful. Let me know, gorgeous ladies. I appreciate you for being here, and let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will be back to talk about how to create and sell your offers, your high ticket offers, right? And I will also be sharing about my offer. And like I said, there's no obligation, but just hang out, watch me share my offer and get comfortable with that, right? Because if you're not comfortable with being sold to, you won't feel comfortable selling yourself. So that is me for today. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Bye.